that is realization of benefit and IT governance. So in that we are going to cover this topics. This is the syllabus for Unit 5. Managing resources. So resources, like all kind of resources, mostly we are going to discuss this three type as a resources. First one is people, second one process, and third one technology. So PPT model in cloud. That is P stands for people, another P stands for process, and T stands for technology. People, process, technology, PPT. So to realize benefit from private, public, cloud IT services while managing these resources for infrastructure as service, platform as service, uh, PR as a service, software as a service, and then Gartner's five pillars of benefit realization, IT governance as a service in measuring the delivery of IT strategy from cloud IT services using Sarbanes-Oxley, that is COBIT model, and other commonly used approaches for measuring the delivery of IT strategy. Then cloud software for asset management, criteria of success in asset management technology. So let's start with the first point, that is managing resources for cloud IT services. So this effective management of resources in cloud IT services involving ensuring right people, that is HR, human resource, with appropriate skills and in proper place, streamlining the processes for enhancing the overall efficiency and leveraging technology. That is the last T as a resource, technology to support operational needs. And this three important aspects, that is people, processes, and technology, very important for optimizing service delivery and realizing the benefits, right? So these are the three topics: people, process, and technology. So when an organization adopt cloud services like infrastructure, maybe as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, right? The real value is not automatic. It is realized only when the three core resources are managed effective. That is people, process, technology, and that is going to generate the overall cloud computing value. So the realization of benefit you will get to know from these three important aspects. So why resource management is going to matter the most in cloud computing? Because if you see many companies migrate to the cloud, but cost going to increase, security issue going to arise, performance may will affect, may not affect, right? So why? Because they only adopt technology, but ignoring other important resources like skilled people and efficient processes, right? So while adopting this last point T, that is technology, we also need to upgrade our manpower, our skill power, human resource, right? Which are going to align with the adopted latest technology. If that peoples are not that much skill, that much trained, the process will not get effectively implemented by the updated technology. So this people, that is HR, human resource management, is very, very important. So people are the decision makers, people are the operators, people are the one who are going to innovate and going to come up with the latest product, latest idea, right? In cloud system. In design thinking also, We take this people, users, our clients in the center, and by considering them user centric products we are trying to develop, right? That people may be some cloud architects, that people may be some development operation related engineers, that people may look at while performing some security analysis, ensuring all rules and regulation compliance is governing properly or not. That people can be CIO or CTO, chief information officer, or chief technology officer, who is going to take some strategic designs, right? So cloud architect, if we see, they design some system, development, and operation engineer is going to automate the overall deployments in the cloud for the production of some softwares or the products or services. Security analyst will ensure all in proper place, going properly or not, right? So in AWS, we required proper trained engineers who will not select any wrong kind of resources, instances that may end up with some certain high cost, right? So the people who know this knowledge, that people we require, right? So as we discuss the role, the example in practice or also that much same important. We have FinOps analyst, which will take care of the financial operations of the company, right? So we require that experts who are having knowledge in finance, right? And they can suggest to come up with the new ideas, maybe launching IPOs, right? Strategies of finance related. So if we can't collect this respective peoples from this respective expert domains, the technology which we are trying to adopt, maybe any latest technology, cloud computing or AI, or we have blockchain, AR, VR, any latest technology. If we don't know the respective experts in that technology, if we can't hire them inside our companies, the technology which we are trying to adopt, there are many chances that that is going to fail, right? So without proper trained engineers, without proper trained team, we cannot optimize the cost, we cannot optimize the resources, and thus we cannot get the expected ROI, that is return on investment. Whatever the investment we are trying to do in the technology, latest technology, that will not come to fruitful if we are not going to hire the respective teams, respective peoples who are trained in that respective technology. Are you getting this? So we required very key focus areas, or uh, the peoples which are already there in the organization. We need to think about their skill development. We need to get them AWS or Azure or Google certified. Proper training we require to provide them. We require some cross functional collaboration. Maybe finance department doesn't know what development team is doing, maybe development team doesn't know what finance department are targeting. So there may be some interaction, such kind of thing required. We call it as cross functional collaboration, right? Or we require some transfer or rotation kind of management. So change in management, moving the legacy mindset from one to another, right? As we are not relying on only one particular head. As the different head comes, the strategy going to change, and that overall going to benefit the organization. So change in management, that is also something required. So that is for this first P, that is the people, right? We also call it as an human resource. We discuss their roles, who are responsible for innovative products, who actually operate and govern cloud system or the overall organization. And different examples and roles like cloud architect, like development operational engineers, finance operational analyst, or maybe some security experts, right? So this is all we need to take in consideration while explaining this PPT triangle, this resource management framework for cloud IT services, which is focusing on people, that is P. Now let's talk about the process. So process defining as like how the work is going to done. If as an organization we want to achieve some target, some goals, we must focus on the processes first, system first, which we are going to be in place, which we are using for achieving that goals or objectives. So most of the organizations will focus only on goals and objectives which they want to achieve, but not much focus on the process or the system which they want to apply, implement for achieving those goals. So this is the chance of failure is going to increase in this way. We required to implement proper process, proper system, and focus more on processes instead of the goal, right? So that we will end up with achieving that goal in better. So if you consider the key cloud processes, like we have deployment, we have CI/CD pipelines, cloud integration, cloud deployment pipelines. We have monitoring all the logs, all the alerts given by our cloud services. We are having cost management that can be handled with finance operational engineers, right? Who are dealing with continuous monitoring, continuous management of the cost. We are having security processes who are trying to achieve the compliance, who are doing handling all kind of audits, implementation of policies are getting done properly or not. So if we focus more on this kind of processes, ultimately we are trying to achieve our goals and objectives. So ensuring that our structure, our system, the automation, maybe CI/CD pipelines and all other operations developments, and the security compliances, all these processes should be properly defined, should be more focused than the actual goal, right? Let's take an example of some case study, real time example. Let's say a startup want to deploy certain apps by using platform as a service, right? So without processing manual deployment, maybe for some frequent errors, downtime happens, right? And if we implement proper process, the manual deployment can be achieved by the help of some automated CI/CD pipelines. Instead of getting some frequent errors with proper process, proper structure, We can have proper continuous testing implemented at proper places so that we will not get frequent errors. Without process, without structured system, there may be some downtime while we are doing some deployment of applications from some startup, right? So to remove this downtime, what we can do, we can design some process which can have zero time downtime deployment, right? We can have proper security protocols for achieving the highest security while deploying that particular applications, developing that applications, right? So startup need to focus on this process so that they will try to achieve their goal, that is properly deployment of that particular application on the platform as a service, right? So this cloud going to success depend on process maturity. The more and more mature process, the structured system you have in place, your goal, your objective will be achieved in the finest form, right? So we have example in practice like development security operations pipeline properly implemented that will try to achieve the security. We have ITIL workflows which take care of all the processes are going properly implemented or not. Maybe we have development operations, development security operations, infrastructure as an code, which will help us in automation. We have some software level agreement driven operations in practice so that our SOL, that is software level agreement, will not get violated in any of the processes, right? So that is what the very important after people we have is proper alignment, proper mature processes which are required to implement. Getting that? So this is what with the managing resources of cloud for people and processes. Let's start with the last resource we considered in this as technology. The T stands for technology. So this deliver scalable, cost efficient and secure solutions. This is what something role in the cloud strategies. And for example, we have infrastructure, platform, software, right? And emerging PRAS as a service. So the technology is going to include maybe cloud, maybe AI. Nowadays we have an hype, right? Machine learning models, some better prediction models, algorithms, maybe blockchain as an technology, maybe AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality as a latest technology, right? Maybe some cloud platforms and services which are used to deliver some solution. Maybe we have quantum computing kind of services offered by some cloud platform which you can utilize. So this cloud service model, we have that service models, that is infrastructure as a service, maybe platform as a service, software as a service. So in infrastructure, we come up with VM, that is virtual machines, maybe managing proper storage, maybe managing network by using implementation of proper VPN, virtual private networks, and so on. Right? We have example like AWS EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, which deliver us the resource or virtual machine, right? Or maybe we require some hosting websites. So for hosting that website, we require proper VM, EC2, proper storage attached to that, proper networking done for testing and all that purpose, right? For platform as a service, we can have some development platform like Azure app, right? Google App Engine, which can do some app development without managing servers, right? So we are more focusing on the development platform for that particular software. In software as a service, we will use ready to use applications as a software as a service, maybe Google Docs, maybe some different other office productivity tools, right? In PR, emerging latest now as a service, we have now X as a service. Anything as a service is possible now with the cloud computing technologies. But this PR stands for the process as a service. So business processes delivering via cloud or maybe some payroll processing system, order processing system, right? So outsourcing this business workflows and implementing more on this process as a service, right? We can have that as an like an API which is delivered to some other business workflows. So in real time, this technology alone does not guarantee Success. We also need to provision our servers. So if we uh, mismanage and implementing this technology, we may end up with over provisioning of servers, which is going to cost us high. So can implement it in high cost. If we are not implementing this technology properly, we can have some poor architectures that may result into low performance. So we need to alignment with this people plus process with the technology. So we also required proper integration of all these three, that is people, process, and technology all together, right? So cloud architects we require as in people, HR, who design proper secure systems, proper architectures. We require proper process. Maybe in banking system, if we take example, proper compliance process of rules and regulation, proper auditing, proper monitoring of all the transactions. In technology, proper secure cloud infrastructure we required, which is combination of infrastructure or software as a service both. So when only all these three properly align, we can have proper secure, scalable, and cost efficient systems, right? So any doubt so far? This is what all we have discussed for people, that is the human engine of the cloud, which are having key responsibilities like skill development, upskilling in teams, so proper getting certified in proper cloud services or latest technologies or multi-cloud tools, changing management, so helping employees transition from on-premise to cloud workflows. This is also we have discussed. We discuss collaboration, so encouraging cross-functional teams. Maybe IT will cross function with security, security will cross function with finance, and finance with make or cross function with IT. So such kind of collaboration we required for training this human engine. We have example like Accenture Cloud Academy, which provides internal training to employees on AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, ensuring the proper workforce is ready, right? So Accenture Cloud Academy is doing this HR training for all the clouds, maybe AWS, maybe Azure, maybe Google. Like that, each and every organization, it is an example of Accenture. Every organization is trying to invest more in training their employees. So outcome of all this will result in increased cloud adoption rate, reduce dependency on external consultants because we have the peoples inside the organizations who are already trained enough, who can handle all the emergencies related to the technology. related to the processes, right? The next we discuss with the processes, the structure which drives the efficiency, uh, the process. So focus areas will be doing more and more automated task, automated processes by using some CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration, continuous deployment, reducing the overall deployment time. We required to implement proper processes which will govern, establish policies for the cost management, for the security management, or maybe implementing some compliance rules and regulations via maybe finance operations or cloud governance. We needed the standardization, so implementing ITIL or ISO frameworks, which will support in standardization for consistent service delivery. So we have development security operations in practice, which will integrating security checks in CI/CD, ensuring every release is compliant and going to reduce the overall risk. So the overall outcome, if we have proper structured processes, we have faster, safer cloud deployments and measurable operational efficiency. Talking about the last, that is the technology. So the technology going to enable of innovation, the core layers of cloud services. So we have service model like infrastructure as a service, platform, software, or maybe process as a service. So for infrastructure, we may focus on providing virtualized computing infrastructure like EC2. In Azure, we call it as VM. In Google, we call it as compute engine. For platform as a service, providing development and deployment platform. So we can have Elastic Beanstalk or Azure App Engine or Google App. In software as a service, we can have delivering ready to use applications like Microsoft 365, Salesforce is there, or Google Workspace, combination of all productivity software for the office, or process as a service, which will automates and integrates the business processes. So we have IBM, BPM, SAP business, which will mostly deal with the business processes and processing the services. Any doubt so far or confusion for whatever we have studied? People, process, and technology. If not, then let's see the next point we have: private versus public cloud resource management. So we will see this through this five aspects. Like first one is ownership, second one control, third one cost, fourth one security, and fifth one is about scalability. So with ownership aspect, if we discuss this resource management in private cloud, the ownership was managed by the organization in private cloud, the total cost of ownership with the organization, with the owners of the organizations. Whereas in public cloud, it is managed by the vendors. So maybe AWS, Azure, or Google will have the overall management of the cloud, of the resources. The control, if we talk in private cloud, the resource management control was done fully over configuration by the management, by the organization. Whereas in public cloud, for resources, we have limited control. We can have some vendor defined controlled, right, by different vendors. Vendor lock-in period is also an issue there. Depending on the cost, if we talk resource management cost, we have high initial capex with private cloud, but later on we will get more return on interest on this. So in private cloud, initially we have high capex, capital expenses. Whereas in public cloud, we have OPEX based pay as you go model, operational expenses on which we are focusing more. and that operational is getting executed. So the cost we need to pay here is OPEX, that is operational expense. Whereas in private cloud, we have to heavily invest in capital expense, that is in the initial stage. Security, if we talk for cloud resource management, we have enhanced data governance in private cloud. For the cloud resource management in public, we have shared responsibility model. So the half of the task which are managed by the users, they are responsible for that. And half of the part which are managing by the vendors are responsible for that. So that is shared responsibility model. We already see this in the previous units, right? Talking about the scalability, so limited by infrastructure, resource management in private cloud are limited with infrastructure because we are the organization is going to invest in that high capital, so it is limited by infrastructure. With the public cloud, it is virtually unlimited, right? So as in we are using this resources over the internet virtually, can have unlimited access to that. So we required an hybrid approach, which will give us the benefit of both. So in cloud resource management, if we talk about who will win, private or public, we will suggest to go you with the hybrid approach. So many organizations in banking, where security is important, many startups who are doing, right? They are all using this hybrid approach. So many organizations now use multi-cloud or hybrid setups for balancing between the security and the scalability, right? So these 2 points will get more efficiently managed over this. So the benefit of realization from cloud is when managed properly, we will have proper cost optimization, we have proper scalability, agility, and reliability over it. Talking about the cost optimization, we are having the right size resources, eliminating unused services. So we will focus more with the less cost, right? That is cost optimization getting done properly. Scalability, we will use auto scaling property service. So based on auto scaling on demand, we will shrink and we will expand our resources as and when required. Agility, we will have faster development and deployment with the help of this agility. So there is a benefit realization from this cloud. Reliability, so high availability systems are available all the time and we can rely on that. So avoiding getting this common mistakes, maybe ignoring training with the people, avoiding automation, that is the process issue, and overusing the resources, that is technology, right? If we avoid these common mistakes, if we train proper our peoples, if we do proper automation process, if we use proper resources, proper technology, avoid overusing of resources, the cloud computing will surely give us the technology shift, which is the transformation from organizational capability, right? So the success of overall this resource management depends on the skilled people, the efficient processes, or you can say the proper optimized use of the technology, right? So that is with private or public cloud resource management. How this PPT management enables the cloud benefit realization. So when managed effectively, people ensure operational excellence. When managed effectively, process going to ensure the predictable automated operations. When managed effectively, the technology going to ensure scalability, agility, and cost saving plans, right? So overall, this combined effect will have reduced downtime, optimized cost, faster innovation, which is ready to use by market, and measurable amount of return on investment what they have done, right? So if we take an example of banks cloud transformation scenario, if we see a private bank wants to migrate their load management system process from on premise to, let's say, AWS cloud. So what we need to focus more on, we need to provide first the training of the peoples of that bank, whether they are aware of AWS, fintech applications, fintech services, loan management systems. So training proper IT teams on AWS security and compliance and FinOps operations. That will reduce the vendor dependency overall. You don't require to consult more and more with AWS consultant if the banking peoples are already trained in IT in managing AWS cloud. We also need to think on the process as a resource where we have to check with how we can automate the loan approval, how we can manage some workflows via APIs, application interface gateway, or some Lambda function, so that the process of getting loan will be easier to their customers, bank customers. We can have some automations like the banking applications nowadays design. If you see Bank from SBI, from Bank of India, we have their application. From Bank of Baroda, we have their application. Almost all banking applications are automated all the processes which early required to go inside the bank, wait in the queue. So on the tip of the mobile, just open that particular banking application. You can have loan management, you can have getting monthly or quarterly or yearly transactions. So no need to go in the bank and printing and managing that passbooks. That process is also now automated. Now every customer of the bank is getting their transactions on the tip of the mobile, on the tip of their hand. They can get loan approvals, they can get some fixed deposit money, FD, creation of the FD or deletion of the FD. So no more there is delay now, and every process in the banking sector, maybe it is a fixed deposit opening, या फिर closing, account opening, या फिर closing. Closing is not there, but of course we can open an account with the bank. So every process is now automated. So this processes in the organization we need to identify. If we talk about our example of college also, we need to focus on which process you find painful and how it can be converted into automation by using cloud technology. So if you identify any such one process which can automate it easily, you can convert it into a beautiful product or as a service, right? So this process, identifying this process for automation. Here we have taken an example of bank who is dealing with the loan management, but the same way you can deal with the your end user or organization uh, proper process which you can automate, right? Proper API you can design, proper workflow you can design, proper serverless function like Lambda you will think of using it. So that will result into the faster process, faster loan approval, faster fixed deposit management, faster account opening, right? And talking with the technology, if we see the use of AWS RDS or S3 for scalable storage, because we have huge transactions and we require this transaction to be maintained in proper rows and columns. So we are going to use here a relational database management system And this relational database management system for banking application is provided by AWS RDS, right? So we will not use here NoSQL database. We will rely on RDS because of the security concern, because of the data process we are handling. The data is associated with each another, and we require some relationship between the data. So it is not in NoSQL data. It is proper structured data which need to stored into rows and columns, and proper table need to maintain primary keys and foreign keys, and association between the data and columns and tables, and normalization and all, right? We can use proper S3 simple storage service, which is scalable as and when required. So that will overall improve the uptime and data deliverability of the technology which we are trying to implement. So overall, this will result in 40% cost reduction, 25% faster operations, and higher customer satisfaction, which is the most important. So focus on this main three as an resources: people, process, and technology, and you will end up with your particular business objective or goal. A banking private bank may have goal that is higher customer satisfaction and retention, attraction, right? So instead of focusing on the goal, how we can get more and more customer satisfaction, we need to think in this way of the managing the resources. So if you manage these three resources properly in any of the organization, people, processes, and the technology, your particular organization objective and goals will already get achieved, right? Are you getting this? So any doubts so far? Any point which you want to discuss again?